The Golden State Warriors just played one of the craziest games of basketball I have ever seen, turning a 30-point lead against Houston into a fourth quarter deficit before overturning that deficit and blowing another lead only to win the game in overtime, in large part due to the performance of Jonathan Kuminga, who showcased more than just potential in overtime. He showcased why he is still a key piece to this Dubs team, even if he's coming off the bench, finishing the game against Houston with 23 points and 6 boards in just 26 minutes, which included scoring 6 of the Dubs' 8 points in overtime. Just watch him here with slow-mo coming to set the screen. It allows JK to go to work on Jalen Green, and even with the men helping over, JK was able to get to a comfortable spot and rise up for the midi. But it was the other 2 buckets that really showcased why Kuminga has star-level potential. I mean, look at him here in transition. How fast is that? Tell me that doesn't look like a 6'8" De'Aaron Fox, because how many other players that size can move that fast and then have the ability to finish? And just to finish off Houston, with a minute remaining, despite losing his handle on the drive, he still had the ability to finish with his left against Jabari Smith Jr. And this is what is so scary about the Warriors. Even in a game where they were missing their best player and another guy in De'Anthony Melton, who was a starting level guard when at his best, the 2 players who stepped up for the Warriors came off the bench. Do you know how crazy it is that you can still get elite bench production whilst having bench players fill in for your injured starters? And just to go a step further, it goes beyond just the likes of Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga, who will receive most of the attention because of their scoring and talent, and rightfully so. But if you want any idea as to how deep this team is, with no Steph Curry, no De'Anthony Melton, it took until there were 5 minutes left in the second quarter for Gary Payton II to get minutes. And once he got on the floor, he immediately got a steal, a rebound, and knocked down a 3. And what I love about this depth is you have a different guy for every situation. At the time, the Dubs had already built a 25-point lead against Houston, so Kerr decided to bring in a guy that could help stop Houston from scoring and preserve that lead. And if it was the other way around, like when the Dubs were trailing to New Orleans, you have guys like Buddy Hield who can come off your bench and turn a 20-point deficit into a win, or Jonathan Kuminga, who we saw give them that scoring punch in overtime. But in addition to the bench scoring, this game proved what everyone should already know. This team is not just relying on the greatness of Steph Curry, they're also relying on the greatness of Draymond Green, who will never get the respect he deserves because people can't recognize impact beyond scoring. But it's not a coincidence that the Warriors have the second best rated defense in the NBA, only behind the OKC Thunder, because this has almost always been the case whenever Draymond Green has been fully healthy and fully locked in. And it's just his ability to shut down numerous plays in the same possession that will always be special. Like here where he initially helps over to clog the driving lane for Van Vliet, before then rotating back to Thompson, absorbing the bump and using that length to go straight up, forcing the miss. Or how about on this play where he's sagging off on Amen Thompson, given his lack of shooting, he manages to wrestle Dillon Brooks out of the way, getting into a position to go vertical and contest Thompson, forcing the miss. This is all the more impressive when you consider how much success Amen had attacking the rim against every other Warriors player not named Draymond Green. But it's that strength, length, and timing which makes him such a hard player to finish against on drives. It's that exact reason Zion Williamson had one of the worst games of his career trying to play against Dre. And we were gifted with a legendary quote from Dre as well following that game, which I'm sure won't be used out of context, right? Another aspect of these games that continues to look great for the Dubs is Andrew Wiggins' aggressiveness. I honestly don't care about the numbers right now, but for all of us who have watched Wiggs at his best and then at his worst last year, which was understandable given the terrible personal circumstances he had to deal with, for all of us who saw both versions, we can all tell that this is much closer to the best version of Andrew Wiggins, with the aggression, the intensity, and just the confidence he has shooting the ball, attacking the rim, and being a great defender. And a good example of that aggression is the 10 free throws he shot in the game against Houston. When was the last time Andrew Wiggins shot 10 free throws in a game? Well, actually, that's my job to figure out, and I can tell you guys he only did it once in the last 2 years, and I know it was a long time ago, but for the first 3 years of his career, Wiggs averaged over 6 free throw attempts per game. That was a different team and he had a much bigger role, but there's no reason he can't be getting at least 4 or 5 attempts a game, which not only gives him a way to get a rhythm and some extra points, but can also put the other team's best wing defenders in trouble. I've said it before, but we all know if you give Steph Curry the best versions of Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green to go with a controlled Jonathan Kuminga, that is going to give you a chance at winning a lot of games. Because we all know surrounding Steph Curry with athletic wings that can defend is a recipe for success, even at this age. You know what else has been a recipe for success? Buddy Hield. That is all, Buddy Hield. Because this is getting ridiculous. I mean, I knew Buddy Hield would be a good signing, but I don't think Buddy himself, I don't think Buddy's biggest fan in the entire world thought he would be averaging 22 points per game, shooting 50% from 3, and practically dropping 6 threes a game. Obviously, that won't continue, because not even Steph Curry has shot 50% from 3 in a season, but there's no reason to think he won't shoot at least 40% from 3 for the season, and with the way the Warriors move the ball and have a system set up for their shooters, it's not crazy to think Buddy could have one of the best seasons of his career just a year after people thought he was washed. And one aspect of Buddy's game that has really impressed me, aside from the unbelievable shooting, has been his aggressiveness attacking the rim. Not just getting out in transition, but showing off some legit skill as a driver on plays like this, where Van Vliet is right up on him about 30 feet from the basket, so Buddy just goes straight past him and to the rim. Or in this play where Dre sets the little screen to get Buddy switched onto Jabari, a couple of crossovers before getting a bit of separation, and even with the length of Jabari, he's able to finish. This is what you need to be able to do as an elite shooter to really capitalize. You can see in those clips the defense was pressing up on him so aggressively because of that shooting ability, so it's on Buddy to take advantage of that by getting downhill and to the rim. And so far, he's been very willing and capable of doing so. And there's one other guy that needs to be mentioned. I'm gonna say it every single time. I don't care if I made an entire video about him. Lindy Waters continues to be an absolute steal of a pickup. Even in a game where he shot 1 of 4 and didn't really fill up the box score, his effort on defense, his ability to be in the right spots at the right time, he's just a guy that fits this Warriors system to a T. DeAnthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, Buddy Hield, all of these guys that they signed in free agency as veterans, Lindy Waters looks just like one of those guys. And to get him for absolutely nothing, shout out Mike Dunleavy Jr. You cooked with that one. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the video and want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. It's free. Dropping a like on the video would be very cool. Either way, have a great day. Bye.